Every mixed martial artist desires to fight in the largest promotion in the world. Unfortunately, some high-profile fighters have lost their opportunities by getting blackballed from Ultimate Fighting Championship. So what does it take for a fighter to be banned from the UFC? Keep on watching to find out. Paul Semtex DALEY. The Paul DALEY incident happened way back in 2010. DALEY had just lost a welterweight bout to Josh Koscheck, and he wasn't too happy about his loss. Semtex allowed his emotions to get the best of him as he walked up to Koscheck a few minutes after the bout had ended and sucker punched him. Although the punch didn't do much harm to his opponent, Dana was pissed off about it. The UFC president banned DALEY immediately, and DALEY took his MMA career to Bellator, where he currently holds an impressive record of 42-17-2. ROUSIMAR PALHARES. Just like DALEY, Palhares was kicked out of the UFC for bad conduct inside the octagon. The Brazilian is known for submitting fighters. Normally this wouldn't be a problem, except Palhares doesn't like releasing his hold, even after his opponent is tapped out.
Oh man, that's like 5 solid seconds.
The first time he did something like this was in 2010, and he was given a 90-day suspension after his heel hook victory over Tamar's draw. 3 years later, Palhares did the same thing again by submitting Mike Pierce and refusing to let go after the ref called the fight. After being kicked out of the UFC, Palhares signed into the World of Fighting in 2014. Surprisingly, Palhares repeated the same thing in WSOF. The UFC alumni was kicked out of the promotion and banned for life after just 3 fights with the organization. If you're enjoying this content and want to see more videos like this, drop a comment and subscribe to our channel to never miss out on any of our upcoming videos. Matt Riddle. The UFC does its best to ensure that active fighters in the promotion are clean. Matt Riddle got blackballed for testing positive to drugs. Prior to this incident, Riddle had a 4-fight win streak in the UFC, and after failing 2 of the USADA tests, Dana White called Riddle a moron and stated the promotion would make life easy for him by not calling him back. Riddle took his talent to wrestling and is presently signed by the WWE. The former UFC star now performs on the NXT brand.
A very talented takedown artist, you can see.
RUSLAN MANOMEDOV. Magomedov literally exhausted all his opportunities in the UFC and has been banned for life. The Russian heavyweight got blacklisted by the UFC after violating the anti-doping regulations a couple of times. In 2016, Magomedov was handed a 2-year suspension for testing positive to a selective androgen receptor modulator designed to help muscle growth. In October 2018, the Russian fighter once again tested positive to 2 steroid metabolites. Magomedov took matters into his hands in February 2019 when he turned down the promotion's request for another sample. This action earned him the life ban. Magomedov's last fight in the UFC was in 2015, where he picked up a decision win over Sean Jordan. He had a record of 3-0 in the promotion with decision victories over Victor Pester and Josh Copeland. Jason High. Dana White had made it very clear several times that an altercation with an official is a serious offense. Jason High served as an example for other fighters in the promotion who might be tempted to do the same thing. The Kansas City Bandit already had a 5-fight stint in the promotion. His last bout in the UFC came against Rafael Dos Anjos. In June 2014, the Strikeforce veteran didn't quite agree with the referee's stoppage of the fight, so he protested by pushing the referee. Dana White released him that night, stating that no amount of apologies would be enough. To make matters worse, Jason was also suspended by New Mexico for a year. That meant that he was gone from the UFC and fighting, period. At the expiration of his suspension, Jason was later signed by the WSOF. THIAGO SILVA. Besides actions inside the octagon, a fighter can also be banned for his lifestyle outside. That was the story of Thiago Silva, who was kicked out of the promotion in 2014 for allegedly threatening his wife with a gun. This incident happened in Florida, and it took the intervention of the SWAT team before the matter could be put under control. After Silva was arrested, Dana White announced that he would no longer be allowed to fight in the UFC again because of the Florida incident. Although all the criminal charges against him were later dropped, White never went back on his decision. BJ Penn. Following the Ultimate Fighting Championship's pattern of always cutting off fighters after losing a couple of bouts, BJ Penn's ban was long overdue. The UFC legend was already on a 7-fight losing streak because Dana White cut him off from the promotion. White took this step after seeing a viral video of the 41-year-old participating in a street fight in Hawaii. The video was released by TMZ to show how UFC fighters constantly get involved in violence outside the octagon. Wanderlei Silva. Wanderlei Silva is one of the stars that has contributed a great deal to the promotion. All his fights were entertaining and captivating. However, Silva can no longer feature in any UFC event because he's been suspended for life by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. The axe murderer refused to participate in a drug test prior to his fight with Chael Sonnen at UFC 175. Dana White was displeased by his actions and made it clear that Silva would not be given any Hall of Fame honors. The UFC veteran was immediately released from the promotion. Demetrious Johnson. Demetrious Johnson had personal issues with Dana White, especially with the way the UFC president bullied the fighters.
You should have started a YouTube channel when you were 13 years old and built your name up and everything else, and you're not a YouTuber, you're a fighter.
This was always the reason for the contention with the promotion. As usual, White didn't care about Johnson's opinion. After a controversial loss to Henry Cejudo in UFC 227, the UFC quickly did all it could to remove him from the promotion. Johnson was sent to one championship in exchange for Ben Askren. Which of these fighters do you think deserve to not be banned? Let us know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel.